How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Forever Arsenal podcast. It's the first one after Christmas, so hopefully it was merry. Hopefully you enjoyed some quality family time and the rest time, and even if you're not celebrating the holiday period and with New Year approaching, this is our last Forever Arsenal podcast in 2024. So I just want to say thank you, everyone. First and foremost, before we do get into it, all, thank you for the love, the support that the show gets. It's grown no end in the last 3-4 years we've been doing it now. So I just want to say thank you to the community, because the community makes the show what it is as well. So big up you lot, onwards and upwards. 2025, we continue moving each and every week after each and every game. And as well as bigging up you guys and girls in the community, I want to big up James, Lee, and Jordan for their commitment. Because it ain't easy. It ain't easy accommodating to Jordan's 8 a.m. sometimes, and I've got to do it. And I've got to pat myself on the back sometimes as well, if no one else is going to do it around here. So I thought, let's start the show with a good old big up to the community and the panel members. But hit up that like button, people. Let's get to 1,000 likes nice and early. I'm assuming Lee's having some technical difficulty. I've never seen him turn his camera off, so this might be an emergency. This might be crazy.
Not when you're talking crap, Turkish. Not when you're talking crap.
Now, there was that one time where he was dying. Don't you remember? Where he turned his camera off and he was really ill. He was in a bad way. Do you remember that time?
Yeah. Still got through it though.
You did.
Yeah, he did. Listen, let's get into it. James, Lee, Jordan, last one of 2024. It is a win, but that win dampened by the news that Saka has been operated on now. And as much as Arteta says 2 months minimum, even with his wording alone, you can tell it's probably closer to 3, if not more than 3, especially with some of the, dare I say, expert opinions I'm seeing online from so-called doctors and stuff. I'm not going to clarify if they're actually doctors. I haven't seen certificates, but they've got it in their bio. So I'm gonna go off that. And it's not looking good, but let's get into it. I'm not Crystal Palace. Look at me. I'm a week behind. 1-0 win, Ipswich, Emirates. Lee, you was at the game. I was at the game. But go on, talk to me.
Yeah, no, I just want to. Sorry, excuse me. Just before I start, just want to wish my mate Adrian a speedy recovery. He's a lot younger than me, but has had some bad news over Christmas, and we're rooting for him all on here, and hopefully everybody, So I know you can do this, mate. So get yourself better ASAP. So I want to say that first,
Keep your head up, Adrian.
Yeah. So listen, it wasn't a great night all round, really, was it? Apart from the win and the news coming home on the train that Saka's had an operation. Finished me, I think, as far as winning the league's concerned. I don't, unless Arsenal do some madness in January, guys, I think that we're in a bit of trouble as far as winning the league's concerned, because you need that X factor, you need your star player, and I don't think he's. I said it on the group chat yesterday. I don't think he's going to be back till maybe April, May, right at the end of the season. I think to have an operation on your hamstring. The minimum that I've known that is 3 months when I've been with players and not come back all season from it. So it's a massive injury. One that I think was coming, because I do think that he has been overplayed. Turkish, you was right yesterday when you were saying, was there any need to be playing him League Cup games? Was there any need to bring him in certain games? I think that you was right. What you're saying was we beat him Bolton 3-1 and he come on and things like that. And this is where it's come to bite us when the internationals, 3 weeks is just not long enough to recover. They should have had an extra couple of weeks against Wolves at home. We played him, Rice. We're in the team that day, and realistically, they should have been nowhere near the team that day, and should have had a break. And it's come back to bite us. And the disappointing for me, I don't know how you feel about this, guys, and why I'm disappointed, about everything at this moment in time, about yesterday and everything, was I see a very, very good team. I see we're really close to winning this title, really, but mismanagement. I can't believe 4 players of the quality of Martinelli, Jesus. I'm going to bring Havertz into this because even though it was midfield, and Trossard against Ipswich can be so poor individually and collectively. It's got to be something more than just that. It's got to be the way that they're asked to play or whatever, because apart from the goal, which was a good goal from a Martinelli cross and then Trossard done well, and Havertz scored the goal, I don't remember them doing anything else other than a chance right at the end, which Havertz missed from 5 yards because he miskicked it. I didn't see any excitement from them. I didn't see anything that I thought, wow, we're going to push Liverpool towards the title. And as far as entertainment was concerned, I'm never going to get that 90 minutes back in my life again. It was absolutely horrendous. Do you know what? I'm going to say this now. I see a few of my mates yesterday and they couldn't walk. And I said, what's going on? They shrunk themselves into, you know, I'm not like that, but they I couldn't watch that. I had to get drunk. You know, come on, boys. This is not acceptable, this sort of performance and the way we played. I thought realistically, you know, the atmosphere yesterday was non-existent. They're playing a song while the game's on and they nearly scored from it. This speaking, you know, who got, and the goal scorer is Kai. You know what I mean? Like, come on. We had a fantastic atmosphere. All of a sudden, well, let's try something different and whatever. Like, you know, I thought, you know, I thought I was in America at the NFL yesterday. Like, you know. And another thing, I've got to say this: for a hot dog, you know, it's £15 for a hot dog. Can you believe? I would not pay that. Like, you know what I mean? £15 for a hot dog. You know what I mean? And people are buying hot dogs for £15 because they're bored out of their heads. You do that because, you know, you eat when you're bored, don't you?
He says marketing.
I think they've done it deliberately, like, you know. I think they thought, oh, these hot dogs are going out of sale. Let's put a poor performance on. We might sell them, like, you know what I mean. You didn't even buy one. You get one free, nothing like that. It was an absolute joke. I thought it was a horrendous game yesterday, and I know I'm moaning here and all that, like, you know, we won the game. So, would you take another 18 of them? If you was guaranteed of winning the league, you would. But oh my God, I thought that was painful last night. I wonder if there's anybody out there that actually did turn the TV off yesterday or didn't. Like, I couldn't believe it also, guys. I know it was at 8:15 kickoff. You see how many empty seats, Turkish, were at the end of that game?
Mm-hmm.
I just think basically because everybody had enough. It wasn't entertaining. I don't want to go on too much about it, but that's two games now where, you know what I mean, like, realistically, Arsenal I should get an email going, we're sorry for that, there's your money back, because that was shocking yesterday, and Everton was shocking as well. But we got the 3 points, so I'm going to leave it on a positive note. Yeah.
Oh, so I was about to take the baton and run, but yeah, let's bring in a positive note. If we have one, James, I was about to say Jordan. Jordan, I know. I had to double back on myself.
You know when you watch a game ill, you're sort of like you're a bit more numb. Like, so I was just happy we won. Basically,
I get that.
I watched the game under a blanket, and I was just a bit like, okay, cool, we won, on we go. So maybe on rewatch, I'd feel a bit differently. Look, I didn't think we were great. I didn't think we were brilliant. But I didn't think we were terrible. I mean, like, basically, chance creation is quite low in this team. And this is why, and the comments, you know, love to you all in the comments, and I echo everything Turkish said at the beginning of the show for the support and everything, and the love you guys show. But the comments were predictably frustrated at the amount of time we spent talking about Liverpool. But did this game not show us why? You know the chance creation that Liverpool have, and Leicester. Okay, you can say Tottenham and their high line and their reckless tactics. Leicester didn't play like that. Leicester had a lead and then played to protect it. Look at the volume of chances. I mean, by 15 minutes in, I knew Liverpool were going to get a handful of goals. It's just a matter of time when. That's why I know you'll get bored of it. Everyone in the comments complaining. I know you lot go, oh, and there were some comments. Hey, I come here to hear you talk about Arsenal and we won and why being so negative. And it's like, well, but can you not see why? Because we're not just trying to win football matches. We're trying to establish ourselves as the best team in the league. So I look at what the actual best team in the league are doing, and I'm looking at what we're not doing that they are. And I think Liverpool, from a chance creation perspective, are outstanding. Now, that's kind of the only negative thing I'm actually really going to say. Because other than that, I thought Arsenal actually yesterday did every other part of the game really well. Ipswich could have scored in the first minute. Other than that, I don't think they laid a glove on us till the last 5. Now, yes, you expect that. They are a newly promoted side. But everyone in a game has their moment or whatever. I just thought we kept them at arm's length. We were totally dominant from a possession perspective, from a territory perspective. I thought we just played the football, in the right end of the pitch the whole game. We just didn't do enough from a chance creation perspective. Do I have any doubt that we deserved to win that game? Absolutely not. We were definitely the better team. We definitely deserved to win that game. It wasn't.
James, I know but you have your ringtone is "You'll never walk alone again." You've got to change that now, because obviously people are getting upset with you about being a closet Liverpool fan. You know what I mean?
Was my point not made though in this game?
It was, and I totally have to. I was going to apologise for you, but you're dead right. We was watching the game here Boxing Day, in the background it was, and wasn't really interested. We knew Liverpool were going to win, but Leicester went 1-0 up. But within 10 minutes, I was with a few of my Arsenal mates around my house, and everybody, you wouldn't believe the predictions that they made. Not one person said Leicester. It was 3-1, 4-1, and then at the end of it, you go and I tell you so. And I have to say, I watched that game, and are Leicester any different to Ipswich?
Thank you. So this was the big point I wanted to make. This wasn't, we face an Everton or a Brentford who are known for, and by the way, Brentford play great football, but who can drop into a shape, who maybe have a back 5, who maybe have played this way before at away grounds and be good on the counter. Leicester and Ipswich are 2 clubs that predominantly want to play a style of football for most games, but playing Liverpool, playing Arsenal, both adopt a different style. So very, very comparable oppositions, in back-to-back days. And one team did a significantly better job at creating multiple chances than the other. Now, like I said, it's pretty much the only negative I really have on it, because I actually felt in every other element of the game, we did pretty well. Like I said, we had them pinned into their, in their box and their third for most of the match. We're not a chaotic side. We're not a side that just relentlessly create chances, and that's a problem. That's why I think we have to act in the window, especially with Saka's injury, but we needed to anyway. So look, I thought we were fine. I thought we were worthy of the win for sure. And it's 3 points, and enjoy that and take it on to the new year. But some things need to be ironed out in the attack, and some money needs to be spent.
James, when you say we've done well and all that, I disagree because the Ipswich allowed us to have all the possession. That was their game. That was their game, to let us have all that possession. So we're going to have all the possession in the world. But Mikel come out yesterday going, we created a lot of chances, and we had a header from Gabriel from a corner which we should have scored. The keeper made a decent save from Odegaard, and one off the line from Rice, which was from a set piece. But when did we open them up? When did we Liverpool opened up Leicester like a school fate? We never done nothing like that. Listen, I'm a big fan of Mikel Arteta, but he ain't kidding me. He might be able to kid a load of his worshippers and whatever. But he ain't kidding me with a performance like that. I'm listening to him and I'm going, who are you trying to convince here, yourself or the fans? Because I thought that was shocking, and I think a few of my mates are very much not sure on Arteta no more. They're saying, we can. I'm starting to go down that route now of he isn't the man. He's done a fantastic job, but is he going to get us over the line? I'm not convinced he can when I see the performances of the last two games, guys. I can't, you know what I mean? And without your best player now, your go-to player that gets you out of jail more times than not, it is a worrying time now.
But it is, sorry to jump in, I know Turkish and Draw need to get their thoughts, but I mean, it very much is the chance creation element of the game that I think was poor. I don't think I can sit here and say, because there's so much that goes into a performance in a game of football. Defensive shape, bloody brilliant. Counter pressing was really good. Our ability to retain possession yesterday, was good too. Like we just lacked quality in the final third. We lacked some invention. Yet I still think on the day we could have had a second very comfortably. I think Gabriel really should have scored. Erdegaard a few times drove into the box. I think a Saka on the end of that is probably scoring. I think Havertz should have got one. So I think we were value for a 2-0 win or something. Which I'm not saying you should all be happy with that. I'm just saying there's no doubt in my mind we deserve to win the game, and in plenty of elements of the game we did perfectly well. But we'll come up against sterner opposition. Newcastle in the Cup, someone mentioned it. That's going to be tricky, really tricky. We didn't show anywhere near enough yesterday to show we can break down that kind of setup that we know they can come with. So I have my major doubts, but I think I aired them plenty last week or post the last game, which was a 5-1 win. So I won't go into it too much. We won, and look, we were fine. We just weren't scintillating by any means for me.
Yeah. I mean that hasn't changed. Jordan, before I give my thoughts, what was you thinking about the game? You've heard Lee and James give their initial thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Turkish. If Lee and James are going to be off brand and be the miserable, critical ones, there's no space for me on this podcast anymore. I mean, I'm supposed to be the one that comes on here and is miserable after a win. So can we just stay on brand, guys? Can everyone just?
I feel quite positive.
No. You're miserable, James. You're miserable.
It's because he's ill and he's on some sort of medication or something. It's the paracetamol, man. It's got to.
It's actually the Lemsip. I've had 10 of them.
But anyway,
it says only 2 a day on the box, mate.
Gonna OD on Lemsip. I mean, I think James, as usual, has totally nailed it. I mean, we're not trying to prove that we can beat Ipswich. We're trying to prove that we're the best team in the league, and that performance didn't do it. It really annoys me when I'm hearing. I've seen a couple of fan cams, and I've seen a few things online. I've seen a few of the WhatsApp groups going off. Oh, we won. Why are you? We won. Got the 3 points. It's all that matters. And it's like, no, performances matter. Performances do matter, because you know me. I always say performances over the course of a season are what's going to end up getting you enough wins to win a title. You can't expect to perform like that and that just be the be all and end all. And the fact that people say, why are you being miserable and critical when we've won? No. This is the time to be critical. It's not when you draw against Ipswich or you lose against. It's when you beat them unconvincingly. You're supposed to criticize the performance. Because I think we know what's coming down the track. We've got Brentford and Brighton coming up, Newcastle, Spurs, United, City, all in the next kind of 5 weeks. If we put that performance up against those teams, even some of those poorer teams, a team like Man City, like Manchester United, even Spurs, who aren't playing particularly great or in a consistent manner, we'll struggle. We'll struggle, man. And again, what James said earlier on is what I've been saying for 3 or 4 weeks. Our chance creation is poor. I said this after a 5-1 win. After a 5-1 win on the podcast, I was saying I wasn't happy with our chance creation. This is not reactionary. This is not me being miserable. I'm looking at the bigger picture. Liverpool have the firepower and the chance creation to win games in a convincing manner. If last night's game was a one-off, I wouldn't mind. If it was like, you know what, we won 1-0, it wasn't great, but those games can happen. Fine. It's not a one-off. It's not a one-off. And you can only blag your way. Maybe blag's a bit. We didn't blag our way last night, but you can only, get over the line with a 1-0 win with that performance so many times before you will get undone. So for me, the performance wasn't particularly good. And when your fullbacks are your 2 best players at home against Ipswich, something's wrong.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it is true. Oh, so what's my brand then? If you want me to stay on brand, Jordan,
Your
let me-
brand. What's your brand? You're the money man. You're the man that wants to hold people
What?
accountable for their spend.
Oh
You
yeah,
spend
yeah, yeah.
peas,
That's why the
you've
hot
got to
dogs are
deliver.
£15, mate. Havertz is on
That's
£2.75 a
an
week.
outrage. That's an outrage, by the way. That is an absolute outrage.
I'm interested what you've got to say, Turkish, because you know I know you're a little bit not like I try to stay as positive as I can, but I want to listen to what people like you are saying now because I don't, it's not like I told you so. You've seen what perhaps I haven't seen for a little while, and I don't know if it's more hope. I'm really interested what you got to say. You know what I mean? Like the end of it, there's people like on the train yesterday not happy, and I like to get everybody's sort of view of things, and I'm really interested what you got to say. To be fair,
I mean, on the performance, there ain't much to say. I'm glad Jordan mentioned the fullback situation because I think both of them were class. I think Lewis Skelly deserves a hell of a lot of praise once again. But it's Ipswich at home, and if we're coming off the back of Ipswich at home praising the fullbacks, there's an issue. And listen, Arteta as well. I mean, this show is also off the back of Arteta's comments about the squad being thin, and we all knew that. And for me, he on and off the pitch, he ain't doing it right now. Some of the things we're seeing on the pitch, nah, and some of the things he's saying off the pitch, nah. And that's not a good combination. That's for sure, because amongst the last few years with Arsenal, one thing about Arteta is in press conferences, I've always looked at him as quite honest, quite open. He'll put the pressure on himself. He'll admit that Arsenal should be challenging for titles. He'll admit that windows need to be capitalized on. But more recently, this season, especially since the new contract, since the best owners he's worked with comment and so on, he's saying a lot of things that lead me back into what I believe is the pattern of Arsenal under the Kroenkes, which is get Champions League football, and we'll from there, whatever happens. If we manage to pull something out the bag, we pull it out the bag. But I truly believe that the target is Champions League football, Champions League money, sustainable, and all that stuff again. And for people to dismiss patterns and trends, it's just funny to me because you can only really make an informed judgment on present and future by taking past into account. And with this ownership, the past tells you that top four under our greatest manager in Arsene Wenger, led down the road it led to. So as much as, yes, we do have assets again, and yes, we are a bright young side, and yes, we are 1-2 players away from something special. We was 1-2 players away from something special with Fabregas. Probably the same with Van Persie as well. We probably win that league if we keep Van Persie on top of Podolski and Cazorla, but no, Podolski, Cazorla come in, Van Persie goes out roundabout. So this is not the first time we're 1-2 players away. This is probably the third, fourth time in the Emirates era, and our manager's gone from saying we need to capitalize in every window in order to keep up with Man City and keep up the standards to the window we just saw in the summer. I've seen something about all of our signings have started a combined total of about 17 Premier League games between Calafiori, Marino, Sterling, and Neto. That's that. What kind of a summer is that? If you're really gearing up, how comes then? How comes whoever these American franchises he's got? I hear talk of Jokic or whatever his name is being the highest paid NBA player of all time, and they win a title off the back of it. He done similar with LA Rams, but with Arsenal, it's tighten the purse strings when the opportunity and the time to maybe get that version of Jokic in football, or get that version of whoever you did for American. But nah, it's like the handbrake comes on as soon as we get back into Champions League. It's not good enough. Arteta's talking about internal solutions, and it's just cheeky of him to talk about internal solutions when Odegaard was out and you didn't find the internal solution to it all because you left yourselves with Nanieri, and now you're Mikel. Now you're saying we're thin. We all knew that. 5th year of the process, we're thin, and we all knew that. And then 2 weeks after that, the best owners you've worked with, I'm sorry, one cannot go with the other. Which one is it? Best owners, or we knew we're thin? Because if we're thin in year 5, they're not good owners, or you're not a good manager. Which one is it? Which one is it now? because it's been negligence. As much as the defense has been built, and I love it, we cannot ignore that the attack hasn't been built. The squad building in the attack has been poor. People want to talk about profiles and this and that. In the striking position, we bought Jesus and Havertz under his management. We ain't bought a striker. We've bought Jesus and Havertz. They're different profiles as well. Their best work comes outside the box, but they are themselves are different profiles. So people need to stop talking about this profile nonsense as well. Now I'm seeing off the back of yesterday, Lee. You know, the starting 11, me and Julian's argument. People saying you can't just buy a striker and slot him into the side and it's all going to work. So what are people saying then? Like, I don't understand. It's always, you always get these fans that want to argue things for no apparent reason. Arsenal need an injection of something in attack, not just one, not just two anymore, probably three, when you consider the impact that Odegaard and Saka's injuries have had and will have on us this season. We need a proper backup to Odegaard. If you don't trust Ranieri yet because he's so young, I get that, cool. Don't go into the season as him being the main backup to one of your main men then. How about that? We need a backup for Saka. We might need one or two left wingers, and we might need one or two strikers. How in year 5 are we in this situation in attack? As much as the defense has been built to a place that 5 years ago I never thought would be possible from where we was at that time with the personnel we had. But you cannot ignore anymore the attack. I'm sorry. And the negligence and the outright cheekiness in some of the press conferences now from Mikel to insinuate, like it's like, what's true? He said this is a good exercise. That Saka, it's a good exercise that Saka's. Listen, I'm not saying he's saying it's good that Saka's injured, right? But it's definitely not a good exercise. It's not a good exercise that your best player, who you failed to back up for 3-4 years, is out injured now. However you want to paint it, and on top of that, you're telling us internal solutions will fix it. Your internal solution was Sterling, who you didn't play because it was another PR move on deadline day to just get fans dancing and tapping their feet again. And it just always works with us. It always works. Waka Waka A was out again last night. So just like that, dancing away.
So it's time I got off my seat.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. But it's just like I'm tired of it, and this is negative. That I want us to build a side and keep on improving and you know, get the positions that we need. Like this is negative. How is that negative?
Do you know, you make a fantastic point. I've always been inspired by Mikel Arteta when his press conferences. Sometimes even in defeat, I've come away from going, yeah, we can come back in this and whatever. Like, you know, he's not doing that no more. You know, even last season when we didn't win the league, you know, I couldn't wait for the next season to start because of his speech, the way he got everything going and all that. But at this moment in time, his speeches and the way he's coming out are not good and they're not inspiring, and that is a worry. I've got to talk about Kai Havertz yesterday because I've been a big fan of his, and you know, in midfield yesterday, done absolutely nothing. He scores a goal, which is what you know, which is great. A poacher's goal, you can say, and whatever. Good, but then you're 1-0 up against Ipswich, and you think, right, I'm a goal scorer. If I'm a goal scorer, I'm not. I'm just thinking if I was a goal scorer, right? Oh, right. I'm now being told to go up front. Yes. And then from that minute on, I see him on the wing, guys. You know what I mean? What is that telling you? That he's not a goal scorer, is he? He's not one of these people. I think he's got 12 goals now. But if you're a goal scorer, you want to be on 15, 16, 17. He hasn't got that in him, boys. You know what I mean? Because I see him popping up when you're playing Ipswich. You've scored the goal, and you're playing everywhere but down the middle where he can get the goals. And
Lee, it's so funny you mention him because I whenever I see the lineup come out and he's in midfield, I just sigh. I hate him in midfield, right? But I actually thought he did okay in midfield yesterday. I thought he knitted the play together okay. I don't think he was brilliant. And I agree with you, he spends far too much time when he's meant to be a striker on the wing. I saw him at the Fulham game, and the amount of times he pulls to the side is so frustrating. So I agree with that point.
Worst signing.
Sorry.
That's a fact. That's Arteta's worst signing. That's a fact. Worst signing. In terms of
It's a debate.
in terms of
It's a
the
debate.
in
Yes,
terms of the
debate,
importance of the signing and what it was meant to do, the fact that he's our highest paid player and what it will turn out as if we keep on thinking okay is good enough and tapping every couple games is good enough. It's his worst signing. It's his worst signing because
it's hard to argue with that.
we signed Havertz for the 8. It went to the 9. We still need an 8 and a 9. Worst signing. Trumps Willian, Trumps Lokonga, Trumps Tavares. Worst signing.
It's hard because it's hard to disagree in the sense that
I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying when you say that.
It's the context of the signing and everything, like you said. It's not that he's been the worst player.
No, I'm glad you get that. Yeah, because people,
far from it actually. But it's when it's for everything he's meant to be. What I'll say about Havertz yesterday is, I know it's going to wind people up, but I'll say it anyway. His best work is all off the ball. It really is. It's every time he doesn't have the ball, he's actually really good at getting back into position alongside Declan Rice. He's very good at sweeping back possession. He's very good. You know, when we've just lost possession, you counter press, you win it straight back, and off we go again. I'm not surprised he got the end of the Trossard cross. Actually, a decent little finish. Well, you can't miss that, but whatever. You know, goes in, nice, 1-0. He's the reason we won the game in the end. I thought some of his hold-up play when we were just booting it long to him in the last couple of minutes was pretty good. And it's like, basically, all his best work is just, like, off the ball. And now Arteta's given him a role, which is exactly that. You know, he plays behind Jesus, so he's not, like, leading the line necessarily or having to, like, hold up the ball in the way R9's expected to. But he's also not one of the midfielders expected to get on the ball and play, because now we've got Lewis, Skelly, Rice, and Odegaard as a 3. So he plays in this now floating role, which he played against Palace. And he's got 2 goals from it. And he worked hard off the ball as he always does. No one can question Kai's commitment. But it does feel like a lot of money and a big investment for someone whose best work is basically done with as few touches as possible. I mean, that is what it is, isn't it? You never want Kai to have more than a second touch. Otherwise, already it's like, just move the ball on. You know, it's basically either be on the end of the move or be working really hard to get it back. And he actually does those things well. But like I said, that's a big investment for someone you don't want touching the ball that much.
Listen, I still think he's a good player, and I still think he does things in the game that are really good. Like, as you say, when there's pressure on in those last couple of minutes, and I know it's Ipswich, the ball goes up to him, he retains it well and everything like that. But I can't argue with Turkish when he turns around and says he was bought for an 8, and we still need an 8, and now he's 9. And after yesterday, he's not a 9, is he? He's not what we want in that role. And I don't mean that critically of him, because as I say, I think he's a good footballer. But we need someone that's got a little bit more selfish. You know, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But like,
Kai Havertz is going to define Mikel Arteta's reign at Arsenal. I think he will live and die by that transfer signing, by that deal. I think he maybe thought he was being a bit too smart, a bit too clever when he signed Kai Havertz, thinking I can get something from him in midfield that Chelsea couldn't. He's clearly a better player and a better fit in our team than he was a Chelsea team, clearly. But is he enough at a time when £65 million spent on a midfielder at that point was a big outlay for someone that you don't now play in midfield on a regular basis? I think when we look at Arteta's time at Arsenal, I think we'll look back and see that the Havertz signing as the pivotal transfer, because that was 65 million we could have spent on an actual midfielder or a striker. And as Turkish has so eloquently put, we haven't got either out of him. Now, again, as James has kind of, you know, endorsed Turkish's statement there, it's not to say that he's not been a good player. He scored some good goals last year, scored some big goals last year. He was a part of our title charge. Let's not dismiss that. He's not a bad player. He's not been a bad player. but we signed Kai Havertz at a time when we didn't need Kai Havertz. We didn't need that kind of player. And I think that stunted us last season to a degree. And I think we're seeing this season now. We haven't even rectified it this summer, just gone. Do you know what I mean? We're still kind of trying to make it work. And again, I thought he didn't play that badly yesterday, but it's still not the transfer we needed.
He wasn't like, I don't want people to think this, like, this ain't about the 90 minutes yesterday, because he wasn't the worst player. And it's not, you know, nothing that I haven't seen before from him in terms of all-round performance level. What it is for me is the reason we are in this situation going into January with our manager saying internal solutions is because we spend 100 million on a DM, and then we give nearly 300k to the Chelsea flop, and it so far, you know, last year it looked like it was going to get us the Premier League title, but it also looked like it cost us in the summer because we had to make a profit. And then this season, they haven't kicked on. So I'm with Jordan. That summer is going to be the summer now, not Calafiori and Marino. They're going to look, you know, we're going to look back at, you know, did we utilize that money correctly?
If you was to pick an Arsenal team, the best Arsenal team, right? I would go. It's arguably you go with a midfield. It's difficult, but you know, probably like you're looking at definitely two of them, are Rice and Odegaard, and then you're probably going, well, do you know what it's going to be for me? Marino, Wanyeri, then Havertz in that role. Is anybody against me on that? Like that's how I would go. Probably like I don't really. We haven't, you know, in 2 seasons now under Mikel, he's not got that number 8 yet, has he? Like, you know what I mean? It's, you know, how many? It's not.
Since Joe Willock, Lokonga, Havertz, Marino now. His strikers, Jesus and Havertz. How's that good enough? I don't care if you're signing long-haired Italians playing at left back that remind people of Maldini or GQ magazine. Yeah, I want you to sign the players that we need.
You let Saka go, right? 2 seasons ago now, and which is fair enough. You let him go, you know what I mean? But not to be able, you know, we haven't looked like replacing him. You know, if somebody said to me yesterday, we've missed Saka.
That sale. I never thought I'd regret that sale.
Do you know what someone said to me yesterday? You know what I mean? He turned around and said, do you know what? Do you know what we need in our midfield? And he said, Granit Xhaka 2 years ago. We've not replaced it.
To be fair, did he be selling Lee or did he want to go?
I don't know. I don't. Either way, Jordan. If you let somebody go, you've got to have some sort of okay. But this is Arsenal Football Club. 2 years down the line, we've not replaced somebody that everybody thought we should replace. If I be really honest, we've got we're paying all this ticket price money and all that. A lot of money yesterday. I actually sitting there yesterday thinking about it. Arsenal Football Club did not have a striker on the bench yesterday. Not an attacking option off the bench. The money that we pay as fans, not just the match going fans, by the way. I'm talking if you're don't go to the games. We're fortunate enough to go, but you're still paying through Sky TV and whatever, like blah 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 blah, which does go back to the club. We played a game yesterday without an attacking player. That's through the youth team. Through, you know, we've got great players like Wanyeri and Miles Skelly coming through and all that, like, but we have not got an attacking option off the bench yesterday. And if I'll be really honest, we've got 2 players missing from that. You know,
not great,
we've got, you know, it's a bit of a worry, lads. It's a bit of a worry, and. Let's put our thing, you know, as Mikel turned around, I think, and said something, you know, let's put our hands on the table now, you know, with a chopping board, and you know, are you betting that Arsenal, your fingers, that we are going to get a striker or an attacking option this January? People are saying we're not.
I want to come in on that, Lee, because Turkish, you'll remember, you could find me an example of this. Then fine, I'll retract this statement. But I feel like this window might be the biggest test in Arteta's reign of the Kroenkes, or let's say the club's ambition.
Mm-hmm.
I think this window might be the biggest test and indicator we'll have ever seen. Because I think in previous windows, either a little bit's been done, or that there's maybe been a reason why certain business hasn't happened. I can't think of a single excuse or reason why Arsenal, unless it really is FFP, in which case, oh my word, I couldn't think of a possible reason why Arsenal as a football club wouldn't think they need to act this January. You did anyway. You needed to get a forward in January anyway. You needed to get a £50 million forward in the summer. Oh, and in the January before that, and in the summer before that. We have needed to spend in that. And for context, Liverpool's attack cost, what was Salah? 35, 40 million. Diaz was a £50 million signing. Nunez was 65, I think. Jota was 45. Who else have we got? Gakpo was 35. Who else have they got? There's more. Anyway, but there we go. I haven't mentioned a player under 30. I think we got. Huh?
Jota was he? Did you mention Jota?
5, yeah. Trossard, Sterling, Saka, Martinelli. Okay, Saka slightly ruins that because he's an academy player, but they're all under 30. So anyway, we needed to address this area of the pitch anyway. Now you know that Sterling's out for a few weeks, but obviously the big one is Saka for 2-3 months minimum. I mean, now he's had surgery. Real questions over how long that will take. I mean, I just can't think of any possible reason.
I think the new generation is going to learn real soon about this ownership and maybe understand me a lot more, because they ain't gonna do what they need to do. Why do you think we're hearing internal solutions from Arteta? Why do you think he's now on 15 million a year? Because when you need to be the shield for some bullshit, you better pay me handsomely, like Wenger said. Because Wenger was the highest paid manager in Europe for times, but we wasn't close to signing any of the best players in the world or the highest paid players. We wasn't close to that. But here you go, Wenger. Constant top fours. Here's a new contract. Here's a couple mil rise. Arteta's got 15 million a year now. So I'm sorry, the demands are there. I don't want to hear about learning and the most handsome Spaniard anymore. Yeah, he's one of the most handsomely paid Spaniards I know as well. Yeah, so let's start doing shit. Don't take the fans for a ride like Wenger did towards the back end of his management at Arsenal, telling us that we pay the highest ticket prices in Europe because of the football on show while we're finishing 4th. That's what Wenger peddled to us because of this ownership. Now it's internal solutions after Mikel came in, breath of fresh air, saying we need to capitalize on every window. Stinks. And I recognize the smell.
Can I just go back to what James, you said earlier on? You said this is the window that the club surely have to recognize that they have to go big, right? Sorry, I'm paraphrasing.
That window was summer. Was summer. But James is right. January becomes the window when you don't do what you need to do in the summer. January should never be the window. It should only be the window if you get it's just a curveball out of nowhere. Or an opportunity.
A nice little gift.
We always expect in January because they never leave us fully equipped in the summer. So we're always talking about January come October.
But if I can answer that before Jordan comes in super quick, is that
go on.
With the summer, and I know you didn't buy it Turkish, and a lot of fans didn't, to be fair, but there could always have been excuses made. Well, we brought in Sterling. Who knows how good he'll look? Well, our whole front six is fit. Well, Trossard ended the title race running in tremendous form, and Havertz ended it on tremendous form, and maybe Jesus rediscovers himself, and Nwaneri is this new young player. Do you know what I mean? There's always layers to the but this. So look, I like to be as hopeful as I possibly can because it's just how I like to live my life as an Arsenal fan. And I went into the season, that Brighton game, straight after deadline day, thinking, I feel like we haven't really done enough, but you know what? Maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'll be surprised and who knows, let's see. Now, January, I just don't see how there could possibly be any of that kind of, glass half full kind of approach to the squad and where we're left, because in summer it was different. Now we know so much more about these players and we know about the injuries.
I think what you're saying there, what you said earlier on, knowing what you have to do as a club and being able to do it are two different things. So the club surely recognize this club needs some reinforcement in attack. They can't not know that, right? Everybody surely knows that Arsenal in the attacking areas are not ready to win a Premier League title. Push, go on some good runs, second, third, fine. But to get over the line, that attack is not good enough. Now, whether they can do it or not is a different question. Now, I know there's a couple of strikers that have release clauses, and the Turkish asked an excellent question a few weeks ago. Really good question. Got me thinking, would you rather try and salvage the title season this year and get a striker in this window? Or would you rather acknowledge the title's probably gone and save that 80, 100 million pound outlay on a forward and go again in the summer? I was leaning towards that, right? I'm a little bit on 50-50 now, because I don't think the Arsenal fans deserve to go through another second half of the season where we cut the gap on Liverpool a little bit. We flirt with the idea of being in the race and falling short again. I think Arsenal just deserve a striker now that can really shake up this league in the second half of the season and make a difference. But I'm also still of the mindset that there's not an endless pot of money. And, well, as Lee's saying, £15 a hot dog. Maybe there is an endless pot of money that they can spend there. I don't know. But there's only a certain amount of money in this calendar year coming up that the club are going to spend. And would I rather go 120, 100 mil for Isak in the summer, or a Gyökeres for 65 million now? I think the title's gone, personally. And I think we've got a good enough squad to win one of the other 3 cups. I would lean more towards go and get me Isak in the summer. But I know what Turkish is going to say. It's always that jam tomorrow. It's always that we'll give it to you in the next window, in the next window, in the next window, in the next window. And that window never really comes. So let's stick it on them now while they're aware we need attacking reinforcement. So this window is going to be very, very interesting. I'm not predicting anything done. I think Rashford at best scares me. I think that is the only deal I think Arsenal will do, and that frightens the hell out of me.
That will make me sick if I'm not sick already.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
Deal, they will look at it. They will
go on, Lee. Sorry, Lee wanted to.
No, I'm going to say it now. I just want to go back to. I'm not ashamed to admit that after the transfer window, I still thought Arsenal would win the league. I'm not ashamed to say that. I felt that we still had enough players to do it and everything like that. What I'll say now about the January transfer window is, after watching what I've seen, I now know that we're not good enough, particularly without Saka. I think there's still a chance that we could probably have maybe got ourselves clawed out back in it, because I think he's a great player and whatever. Now he's gone out, we've got no chance of winning the league. No chance with that attack. I've seen it on a few occasions. It's not good enough. It's going to beat certain teams when teams open up against us. We can beat them with it, but it's that low block teams we ain't going to do it. If the club are not prepared to go and buy someone in January, if we don't buy anybody in January, I'm tapping out. We ain't winning it. There's no way we're going to win it. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen, because we know what's going to happen. And when they say they've got no money and all that, I know a lot of Arsenal fans that are struggling on money, but when some of that merchandise comes out, they go and buy it. You know what I mean? These red shirts that they're actually they're warming up in coats at this moment in time. Arsenal Football Club are warming up in coats, right? These red things with the white sleeves on it, go and have a look how much they are. And they're Arsenal Football Club. Our players are warming up in coats to push out a jacket which is unbelievable money, right? And that's what they're doing to us fans. And then you're turning around in January saying, well, we can't really afford this and all that. I think it's a disgrace, boys, if that's the case. We need to sign a forward. Now, I don't care who it is. That's their job. People keep saying to me, well, who do you want? It's not my job. All I know at this moment in time, Mikel Arteta and the board, and I'm starting to think that maybe Edu left because of all of this. I don't know. But I know that our best player has gone down. Our best backup player for that role, because that's who you bought, was Sterling, has gone down, right? You need to replace or help that go somewhere along the line. Now, I don't care, guys, when you turn around to me and go, oh, if we go and buy Cucurella to and then sell him in the summer, because you've done it with Ramsdale. He was ruthless with Ramsdale. Be ruthless now with a forward. Get a forward in there. If it's going to get us to the title and then you want to go and get someone else, fair enough, go and do it. But I'm telling you that now, if Arsenal do not get anything in January, you know, this could be a great month for us, boys. This could be a great month for us. And it's no good going and get this striker in February the 1st. It's got to be done at the beginning of the month, because we have got all of our games, FA Cup, League Cup semi-final, Champions League, all in January. And you going in there with no striker on the bench, please, don't.
Well, let's dream. Let's dream for a second. Let's say this time next week we've signed Gyökeres. Let's just, for example, how do we feel? This time next week, Gyökeres on his way to Arsenal.
But like James said, we needed Gyökeres when Saka was in the side. And my thing is, we need to focus on this season, but at the same time, we need to do enough work in January to take the load off the summer. Yesterday,
injuries happen, Turkish. You can't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can't turn around and go, right, we're going to buy, I don't know, £100 million player to back up Saka. Saka doesn't get injured. You can't do it. You've got to get somebody in that can play in a different role when Saka's available and who's ever available. Yeah. But at the end of the day, injuries happen. We got, you know, to lose Odegaard and now Saka for virtually like the whole season, the pair of them, you know, combined, it is unlucky. Yeah, you can't, but it happens. But you've now, I'm not being on, this could have happened in February. Saka could have got injured on February the 1st, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. If there is a silver lining on this, he's got injured just before the transfer window. And if you don't go and do nothing in there, it's scandalous. It's scandalous.
And I think, you know, you said that people will throw back the rebuttal to you, Lee, of, well, who do you want to get? And actually, for once, I think this is one of the easier questions, because there are names. There are names. Mohamed Kudus, you're right. I looked into it, Turkish. £85 million release clause in the summer. So there's now a figure around which you can operate with West Ham. We aren't having the best season. I heard a TalkSport report saying that, you know, West Ham might consider doing a deal. You have to bring that forward, and I think he's that good a player. I do think you operate around that kind of money. I think he's that good. Some people might think I was crazy, but I really think he is. Brian Mbeumo at Brentford, class player. Can play on the right, can play up front. So if you've got someone like a Kudus or an Mbeumo who have to come in and very much play full Saka in the meantime, and you know what? Jesus and Havertz going to have to fight it out. Martin and Trossard are going to have to fight it out. Fine. But you know what? When Saka's back, maybe you found a starting striker or left winger in there too. And those are the kind of players we should be looking at. And there are other players like that. There really, really are other players out there like that, whether it be Antoine Semenyo. You know, you mentioned Rashford, Jordan. And actually, look, I don't want that signing. We all know how Turkish feels. And I know why I don't want that signing. But if you ignored, and it's a big if, but if you ignored a lot of the drawbacks and reasons why people don't want him, if you're talking about raw pace in behind, proper ball striker experience, that's actually the kind of player we need on the left, frustratingly. So shame there's the drawbacks he has. But that's another player on the market. Brighton have about 6 players we could go get. I mean, genuinely, from Adingra to Mateo.
But here's my question, James, and to all 3 of you. Are we signing a striker or a couple of attackers now to try and salvage a Premier League title charge? Or are we signing a couple of attackers because they're the guys that we just generally need anyway? Because if we're signing a guy just because we think that'll be the difference in the title race, I'm not comfortable with that. If we're signing a couple of guys that we would have signed in the summer gone anyway, then I'm okay with that.
Both. That's why I feel that strongly about this, because I don't think Mbeumo and Kudus are the kind of deal that come June, July, you're going to go, kind of we added them, but did we really need them?
Yeah.
I think they're brilliant. I think they're absolutely brilliant. And I don't, sometimes I'll go mad thinking, Why are clubs not looking at these players? What am I missing? What do the scouts know? Because someone sent me a PDF of these scout reports with a list of the cons. Because I don't know what Mohamed Kudus, what work rate, not lacking that. What kind of goal can't he score? What position can he not play? You know, what possible reason could we not want this guy? You know, Premier League experience. We got that now because you didn't want to sign him for 30 million before, so you have to pay 90 now. I don't know what it is. Brian Mbeumo, what hasn't he done since he's been at Brentford? He's played up front in the front two. He's played out on the right. He's played in a back four system and a wing back system. What can he not do?
I hate doing that. I told you so, but I did mention him in the summer, and you all gave me side eye on him.
Who?
I
like him, Bomo.
You all looked at me kind of. I said I wanted Bruno Guimaraes and Brian Mbeumo.
Yeah.
I like him, Bomo.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. He might not have been my first choice at the time, but I'm a big fan.
No, even when we was interested in Tony, I said I don't think Tony's Brentford's best player. I think Bomo's their best. He's their best player.
He's a baller.
But the thing is, the thing about that is that we're talking about rotation strength from the right hand side. We're not talking about Mbomo coming in, starting week in, week out for us. Obviously, back his injury.
But he can play up front.
Yeah,
like, he could lead the line. I mean, he's a good ball
striker. But this is my point. Sorry, before I come into Turkey, this is why I asked the question just now, because when I really check it, Arsenal really had two proper goal scorers in the last decade. You're going back to Aubameyang and Van Persie. The next striker, even United in that time,
Van Persie is not even in the last decade anymore.
Oh wow, there you go. Then so that's one goal scorer, and I was never really. Me and Curtis always argue about this. I was never really a big lover of Aubameyang, but he was a goal scorer. That's one goal scorer in a decade. United have had goal scorers in that time. Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, they've all had multiple goal scorers in the last decade. We've had one. So that's the reason why I'm asking the guy we sign or we want to sign in January. It's got to be the guy. It can't be just the guy for the next 4 or 5 months to try and catch Liverpool. It's got to be the guy for the next 3 years. And then we've got to be very, very astute about who we sign because we're due a goal-scoring centre forward. We've not had one for so long. So I don't want to just get a striker that we think, get him in now because we might catch Liverpool. Now I've done that. Get a striker in now that can be the guy that leads us for the next 3 seasons.
Jordan, you're right what you're saying, but when you say that, no one, you got to think of it from the other side, is going to be selling their best striker, their main asset at this time of season. You know, you could go to Fulham and offer Wolves and get Kuna. They're not going to let him go at this moment in time when they're, you know, if you say to them, "Oh, we'll give you 50 million," it's worth 100 million for them to get relegated. They're not going to do it.
I think with Cunha, they actually would. I think if you gave them a proper serious offer, I take your general point. Most players, most strikers, most teams would not let their best guy go in January. I agree with that. I think Wolves would sell Cunha for 75 mil.
Victor Gyökeres is one of the hottest properties in Europe, and he's got a release clause. Osimhen was one of the hottest properties in Europe and has got a release clause. Both of them have attributes and skills that we lack in abundance in this side in terms of peeling off defenders, being a real threat in and around the box to defenders and the goalkeeper, and off the back of that, I think there's no excuses. I feel like they would come. Listen, yesterday on Starting 11, Lee was there. I said, because Robbie asked me what you'll take Gyökeres now and not a second in the summer. I said get both or try and get both, and then I was met with it's so unrealistic and so on. But we are in need in multiple positions now, right? So if we don't go big on a striker in January that's available for 80 or 60 mil in terms of release clauses, then what makes people think that we can go get 120 million Isak next summer and also get the winger that we need? Because we need a left winger, and the ones that make some noise, they're not cheap either. So we're not going to do that. So I'm looking at this January window as a window of opportunity because you've got Osimhen, Gyökeres, you've got Lookman available, I think 40, 45 mil release clause as well.
Very good, by the way.
Yeah. Got potentially loan players available at Real Madrid. So there's enough in this January window that the age-old who do you want question is absolutely eliminated. There they are, and that's it. Get one of them, two of them.
You know, Dani Olmo, Barcelona, I think, are in the middle of some court thing about whether they can even register him.
I saw something on that, James, on Twitter. I saw something on that, and I forgot who tweeted it, but it said something about when Arsenal want doing what we were meant to be doing, Barcelona exploited us with maybe Thierry Henry, Cesc Fabregas, even Overmars and Petit. I remember that summer, the way they bullied us.
They took
Now,
players
now,
on.
yeah. Now it's time. Now it's
And
time for us
Hleb.
to return the favor. When we was lowest of low, City bullied us, Barca, United. All of these teams were taking players they wanted of us, left, right, and center. Let's go do some dirt now, because I don't think nice waka everything's happy is gonna get us over the line. You need to be ruthless, both the fans and Mikel. Like Lee said, how was you this ruthless with Ramsdale? But the attackers, my God, Ramsdale must be still looking at it thinking, fucking hell, they're getting away with murder. How? I don't understand it. How?
Well, like I said, I think this is the biggest. This might be the biggest window in Arteta's reign that the Cronkies have ever had. I think there is, because I don't think, and I'm seeing even the most positive of Arsenal fans say it, it just feels that there is just no excuse. The
No,
word
we're
negligent is being used a lot, and I think really people are like, look, how much do you really want it this season? Because this has been an hour and 1 minute so far of complaining. Let's be real. We've moaned a lot on the back of a win. And people aren't going to be happy about that in the comments. Okay. But for all we've said, I actually think all four of us, cut me if I'm wrong, believe that this can still be a successful season. Liverpool are doing tremendously well. Let's see what happens if you keep winning games. The Champions League, Real Madrid and Man City are making harder work of it than we've expected. We've never won it. I'd quite like to win it at some point in our history. Okay? It feels, as good as Liverpool are, that there might be something in that for us. We can get our act together. The FA Cup, well, you never know. It's our trophy. And the Carabao, we're in a semi-final against Newcastle. I don't want to piss away this season. I really don't. I still think, as much as I've moaned about this campaign, as much as I have my doubts, I don't think it's unrealistic we come out with 2 trophies. Big deadly. I mean, it's difficult. I don't think that's like beyond the realms of possibility. We're still a good side. For everything we've said, we're still second in the table. Yeah. So do we want to piss away this season and go, well, we intended to do it in the summer. We're going to stick to our plan. It's all about the long term. Or we're going to go, look, some craziness has happened in our squad at the moment, and we didn't do enough in the summer, and we're going to go big and show our ambition. I know it didn't really amount to what we wanted, but we almost need that January with Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, where we just basically brought in a creator / winger and then a goal scorer, because we desperately needed it in the squad. Now one was more successful than the other, but at least I came out that January thinking, oh, all right, we've added 2 players there. Bloody hell! I mean, that might revive some part of our campaign. We need something like that. We need something really that makes you sit up and go, like Daniel Olmo on loan and then Burma for 55 million. I'd go, all right, fair play. You've added a 10 who can also play out wide, by the way.
You're having a go.
You've added a forward who can play across the front 3. I'd go, and that's 2 really good players who, by the way, whose stock are on the up. Because a great tweet I read a couple of weeks ago was, why do we always sign attackers whose stock are on the way down? I mean, genuinely think about it. Gabby Jesus, Man City no longer wanted it. Fair play, he came in on fire, but okay. Kai Havertz, his stock wasn't higher at the end of his Chelsea reign than it was when they signed him. Leandro Trossard, to be fair, his stock has gone up at Arsenal, but he came in off the back of a fall out of Brighton. Sterling, let's not. But these are good points, right? When was the last time we signed an attacker who's genuinely on the up in momentum? Can we do that, please?
The thing is, these great points you make there. I, as an Arsenal fan, I don't know. I'm frustrated because I see a really good team. I see a chance. Now, you say about other times when we've gone and signed players, that's to get into the top 4, or we've got a chance of getting top 4 and we get these players. We've got a chance to win the league. You know what I mean? Like, Liverpool are playing fantastically well, but I see vulnerabilities in Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like they conceded 3 at Tottenham the other week. Like, it's for me, it's frustration. We are close, and listen, they can sign these 2 players, James. If the 2 players you just mentioned, we might not win it, but at least I will have the consolation. We give it a go. We've tried. I'm telling you this now, and I'm speaking for any Arsenal fan, I'm thinking of myself, but I know there's a few who talk about it. If Arsenal do nothing in January, come the summer, and it doesn't go the way we want it to go, there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to turn. They're going to turn because of what is happening now.
And what's being said.
And what's being said and what's being done. And then all of a sudden, if you see that gap getting further away from whatever, people are going to lose their stuff and all that. Like, I'm frustrated at this moment in time because I still, whether you think I'm right or whether I think I'm wrong, with Saka in the team, I still think Arsenal are one of the best teams in it. I still think that we could win the league. In 1 week, we've overtook Chelsea. In 1 week. We were 6 points behind them at one stage, like, you know what I mean? Like, it can happen, but you've got to be given the tools to make that happen. And you know, we've just taken. I'm not being horrible. If you're working on a job and someone nicks your screwdriver, what do? You don't use a fork. You go and you replace it, don't you? Like that. That's what we've got to do now. You don't get, you know. So I'll tell you what, I can use a fork. I can get this sorted in a fork. You don't do it. You go to
Wicks,
Screw Fricks or Wicks, and you go and get B&Q. We better mention all of them, and you go and get the screwdriver. This is where it is at now, like, and it might not be the best screwdriver in your toolbox, but it will work.
B&Qs are good, to be fair.
This guy will go buy an inverted hammer though and put him up front. That's where he'll go do.
No, you don't do that. You don't buy one of those ones where you pull out the things and put them back in. Do you know those screws?
They're crap. They're crap, Lee. They're
crap. You put it out and you put in the Phillips, and then you put in the. You know, we all know they do the job, but they're not great. That's what we've got at the moment. We want a proper screwdriver. Come on.
Lee makes a really good point there.
Amazon do good ones too, actually.
Thank you, John. That you know, Chelsea were 4 points ahead of us last week, or about a week or whatever it was. Now I know that's not, you know, I know the expectation was always that we'd be ahead of Chelsea, but basically they drew at Everton. That can happen. And they lost at home to Fulham. You know, where'd that come from? 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go. So football can just happen. Now, the rebuttal is, yeah, but, you know, just Chelsea fans said they're not in the title race and we should be ahead of them anyway. Okay. Liverpool had a game they missed against Everton away, which is going to be tricky, as we've seen. I mean, Everton's results recently have been phenomenal. And then they drew at home to Fulham. So basically, us failing to beat Fulham away from home, and Everton at home is 4 points that we don't have on the board. But basically, in the space of a week or two, that could have changed super quickly. So we have to do everything we can to be ready for the next moment like that, because it will come.
But that's the point, James. Liverpool will drop points. That's always been my thing. I've got no issue. Liverpool. What's the gap now? 7 points.
6 game in hand.
And that game in hand, by the way, is Everton at Goodison under the lights in the last ever game.
They'll win that. They'll win that.
Maybe.
I'm confident they'll win that.
I'm as hopeful of that fixture as any that they drop points.
But even if they do drop points in that game, it's still then 6 points. My issue has never been
Calma. We ain't even beating Brentford and Brighton next. We ain't getting 6 points out of them when we're worried about.
That's my point. My issue is can we?
Yeah, no, the ready thing. I get that.
You know, we need to, but I agree with you, and that's why I keep saying, like, when people were asking before, but don't you think Liverpool drop points? Of course, I was like, yes, but we can be consistent enough. That was always my rebuttal. But I tell you what, we can improve that consistency by adding some quality. It really sometimes it is player recruitment. Sometimes it really is that better players winning football matches.
In 3 days, be excited. We'll be officially 6 years running. Yeah. Ooh. So excite us. It's time, surely. And in 3 days the window opens as well. And this is our last one before the window. So I think it was only right to touch in on it like we did off the back of the Saka injury. And you can see the tone, people. You know, I think making some sort of moves is a must. No one say Rashford. With the Rashford situation, I'm looking just to touch in on that. I want Napoli or AC Milan to tempt fate with that one, and then we can get a Kvaratskhelia or a Leao potentially. Because, you know, I'm not looking at I'm not looking at saving people anymore. Save me, save us.
Save the whole.
Why am I saving everyone? Who's gonna save us?
That's good.
Save,
Save me.
God's sake, but yeah.
Leao's a good point. Leao's, I mean, that's super
Not
expensive.
not sure about Liao, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about football nowadays, Jordan. There's not an abundance of players in positions anymore. So we've got to just try, take the risks.
Do Arsenal make a more than £40 million signing this window? Hands up.
No.
Do Arsenal make a loan deal? Hands up.
Yes.
Maybe.
Can we make any more loans? How many loans have we got?
We've got to make Neto permanent or Sterling.
No. Well, yes, we can from within the Premier League if Neto or Sterling become permanent.
I'll pass.
Maybe.
I'd send Neto back. Can't we cancel that loan? What a stupid. That's in the Kim Kallstrom category of stupid. That's why I'm so worried, because Sterling on deadline day and signing a keeper that's cup tied is 2013 of Arsenal that I just can't believe it's 2025 in 3 days.
It was a shocker, wasn't it? I think we do a loan deal, to be honest. I think that Daniel Olmo one just feels like he can literally play all three positions we need to add to, but probably isn't the answer.
We'll see. We're back on the 2nd of January, people. I believe, 2nd. Actually, I haven't done the schedule yet, but games at 5:30 on this. Games at 5:30 on the 1st. So we'll be back on the 2nd, people. So hopefully by then we've initiated one of these release clauses because there is no excuse, right? There's release clauses there. You initiate it on the 1st. You can talk to him by the end of the 1st. So Arsenal, get the talking. This ain't a Vlahovic or a Caicedo or a Sesko or all of these players that we were rumored to be, talking to and negotiating. This is release clause January. That's what we're going to call it.
Go and get Salah.
Break one of them. Salah?
Go and get Salah. You can talk to Salah next week, There you go.
Oh, no, we can't.
You can't talk to Salah next week. Only teams from abroad.
Oh, abroad. That's right. Okay.
Don't ruin my motivation speech with that. It's nonsense as well. Maybe make a mockery of it.
You killed me, by the way. You can activate the release clause on the 1st, and you can talk to them by the end of the 1st.
That's right. Signing by the 2nd. You know what I mean? It's like,
there ain't no excuses. I'm putting it in layman terms. Is that what they say? Layman terms, basics.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a release clause. Break it. Not 40 million and £1. That would be the next one. We do 85 million and £1 and sport and say, what are they smoking there at the Emirates? Still the same pack they were smoking 10 years ago, mate. Fucking out of date. But we move. We haven't got a game. Brentford. And I've got a prediction table to bring up. No change. A point added on each person's score. James stood in 1st, Jordan stood in 2nd, Leeds in 3rd, and I'm in 4th. We haven't really discussed the Brentford game much. I think I did mention Visa and Mbomo on the counter, and if we give them the space that Ipswich had in the last 10 minutes, because we was getting ran through like nobody's business at one point. But I'd be worried against Brentford if we was open like that in the midfield. Anyone else? I mean, I already said I don't think we're beating Brentford and Brighton away from home.
No, I think we'll change tactics. We'll have to play Partey and Rice in midfield. You know what I mean? We can't be as open as we were. I thought, by the way, Rice was our best player yesterday.
I thought he was very good.
Miles Lewis Skelly, but
I thought Lewis Skelly. Yeah,
I think that we need to shore it up a little bit there. Like, I'm not saying too much. I'm backing the team to just nick it, but these next 2 games will tell us. So if we would get over these 2 games and bring in a couple of players, I think we're still very, very much in the title race. This next 2 games, Brentford and Brighton, difficult games, but we've got to win them.
It was a couple of weeks ago. I checked it, so I might be wrong, but Brentford were right up there for the Premier League home table. I mean, basically, it's been unbelievable at home. But I think Arsenal will find a way against Brentford and Brighton. I might be bold of me to say, because when we drop points against Brentford, I'll have a different thought with Brighton. I'll back us to win this. I'll fly in early with the prediction. 2-0.
Wow.
2-0. That's a bold one. Jordan, sorry.
I'm actually more worried about the Brighton game, but Brentford are very, very good at home, as James said. Sod it. Brentford 2, Arsenal 3.
3-2 win. Lee?
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 win. 2-2. That's what I'm going to go with.
I was thinking 2-2, but I'm going to go 3-2 or something.
Don't worry, I'll get the abuse for my prediction again this week. It's all right, Jordan. You save it for next one.
It's your
Save it for
turn.
Friday,
Yeah.
man.
We'll take it.
We got to rotate
Right.
the abuse.
We'll mix it
Too
up.
much.
We'll mix it up.
Anything for this game. I don't think no one's wrong. This could go anyway. This game.
Any which way, any which way.
Any which way but lose.
Well, I wasn't going that far, but yeah, we moved. That's our predictions, people. Remember, AFTV Plus app. You can play along. Forever Predictor. I've told you once. I've told you many times. Make sure you get that app, people. And it's not just a Forever Predictor. That's available on it. You can keep up to date with news and everything Arsenal and AFTV related. So go show the app some love. Show the video some love. 1,000 likes. And that was 16 minutes in. Give us your thoughts on everything discussed. I'm sure there's about 150 comments about the tone of the podcast. But yeah, going into the new year, Saka blow and 6 points off Liverpool, game in hand, and a trip to Anfield. It's not the greatest end to 2024, even though I've seen a lot of people fucking posting the 2024 form tables and saying another year, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up with all of that bullshit. Yeah. New year, new people, man. Please, all of you lot that on Twitter that just
New fans.
be new people in the new year, man. Please
Do better.
just do better, man. Just stop making me sick and people, yeah. Where was we? Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Comments of the day.
Don't forget, big up NordVPN. Give them a subscription. Go show them some love.
Let's not even.
Available.
Comments of the day. What are you lot saying?
Yeah, can I go first?
Yeah.
Because it was put in the old group chat by our little smudge James, so I thought I would address this one. Lee predicting a 2-2 draw in the Tottenham versus Liverpool game. Lee after the game, you didn't think Spurs were going to get anything from this game, did you? Right? No. When I see the teams, the team sheets, we don't really know what team sheet we're getting there. That's why I get them all wrong on there. If I see the team sheet, I'll know. When I see that team sheet against Spurs, no contest. When you've got no defenders or central defenders and a goalkeeper, bosh, gone. If you see the team, I think this is why this predicting things are a bit tougher, because we're predicting the game against Brentford now without knowing who's playing and who's not. It's difficult. But once you see the team, Liverpool are always going to win that game. So up yours, James. And yours in the comments.
James just there.
Happy New Year.
To confirm, you thought there was a chance that Romero and Van der Ven, who were ruled out for the game, were going to play the game?
All receipts.
I thought maybe one of them would.
Right.
And I was told that Van der Ven was going to be playing from a Spurs fan, and then all of a sudden he's not, and he's still not playing. So
and that's a 2-2 to 6-3 swing.
Listen, I think that if Spurs would have had a defender in there, they could have got a draw. They could have got a draw.
Oh man!
Let's face it.
Was Udogie meant to be fit for that
game? I do believe he had a fitness test an hour before the game, according to my contacts. But and I'll tell you what, his name Davis has had a setback as well. Not that it's a Spurs pod, this, but so they're still lacking in defensive areas. And also, let's be honest, there's a little bit of wishful thinking that that Spurs could have done something in that game, like, and got a draw.
That's all I was saying.
So now you got it. It was wishful thinking. After all that.
Yeah, all right.
Respect.
But reality kicks in, doesn't it? Reality kicks in.
No, I know. I'm the same. When I watch a game and I'm sort of hopeful, maybe, and then you watch that first 10 minutes, you go, "Oh no!" That's how I felt watching Leicester. When Leicester, we were sitting there just having food on Boxing Day. My dad turns to me, and goes, "Leicester are 1-0 up, you know." I went, "Okay." And I sat down and watched for 10 minutes. I went, "Why am I bothering?"
Yeah, that's done the
Way
same.
too early.
It's
Way
just
too
done
early.
the same thing. What are we sitting here for?
Shot after save, crossbar, save onto the post, back off the goalkeeper, peppering it. I went, "Oh, no, why am I torturing myself like this?" But anyway, there we go. I've got a comment from, actually, let's go for this one from Ben. Jordan takes the sofa with him to games to sit in front of. Quite like that.
I saw that.
This one I'm going to address because actually I got it wrong too, and I think we also thought this Turkish, but Lenez Rivek, which I think is Kev Arsenal backwards, says Calafiori will be the left back, not Skelly. People were saying Timber was clearly going to be the first choice left back, but plans have always been Calafiori, in my opinion. Even the fact he came on for Skelly fairly early is because Arteta will trust him more defensively. Now, I thought, and we said in the predicted 11 something similar, but to be fair, he stuck with Lewis Skelly, who, quite frankly, that's his shirt now until it's not. He's playing better than anyone in that position we've seen. What has he not got? Defensively, fine. Very good, very press resistant, very good on the ball, playing the kind of cutting passes you want to see, understands the role, perfect profile for that role. Well done to him. And I only read that out because I really thought a similar thing. So I'm not trying to, point out Lenez Rivek as having got it wrong.
Can I just say something about him? I forgot to mention that today. Do you remember when, like, I can't remember who it was, pushed into Gabriel and he confronted him?
Yeah.
I like that.
Calvin Phillips, yeah.
Was it? Yes, Calvin Phillips. Yes, he's backing up Gabriel, who's 6'4". He said, "You ain't doing." Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
He's gone up in my estimation. He feels that he's
got that side. You can see it in his tackle.
I don't know if you saw, but Liam Delap gave him a little shove about 10, 15 minutes earlier. And what you might not have caught at the game, which we saw on the cameras, is it's really hard to explain. But when you look at Lewis Skelly in that moment, my word, he doesn't look phased. His demeanour, his facial is like, "What? Like, can you just leave me alone, please?" It's very like, can't be bothered.
Just move, man. Just move.
Like, get out of my way.
Lee mentioned a couple of weeks ago describing one of his performances as quite safe. I think it was the Everton game, and I think he was right. I think he was safe. Yesterday, he was not safe, and you could argue there wasn't much risk going the other way. But he was driving through the middle of the ball. Yeah. He was beating players. He was actually beating like 2-3 players at a time. He was pushing up. I like him.
He's been doing that.
Yeah, I can see something in him that I'm not yet seeing in Ranieri. I'm not bashing Ranieri. The guy's a talent. But when I look at Lewis Skelly, I can see on the ball comfortable, defensively, positionally, in the air. He's got a little bit of an oomph to him.
Year older helps as well, Jordan.
Oh, right, 12 months, right. The whole 12 months.
He's a very intelligent footballer.
He is. I like him.
Very.
Part of me wishes he just booted that ball clear with the final kick of the game. But he's intelligent enough.
He backs himself.
And confident enough to just put his body in front in the penalty area, boom, win the foul, done. Like, game over. Job done.
And it just and seeing him at this, it just makes the Calafiori signing even more confusing for me. I'll be real with you, because I'm not saying I don't like him, but what I'm saying is, how can you have this talent there, playing him there pre-season, and deciding that we buy another left back instead of a striker? How do you come to that circuit? Like, just please? But we're on comment of the day. Sorry, I'm going backwards.
I got a couple positive ones. One here. I can't believe how addicted I have become to this show. I kept checking to see if it had been posted. Good job, guys. Keep staying true to yourselves. Don't change who you are. All 4 of you bring something unique to the table. Higher heights. I like that one. And another one here, which is a nice comment about James, but I can't help but feel it might be a slight indirect to some of us on the pod. It just says,
"Do you see yourself on the screen, Jordan?"
Oh, sorry. So, I mean, sorry. Is that better? I'm having
No,
a mare
I'm
today,
just wondering if I've never just done a pod with someone that's their face like. Imagine doing pod.
Sorry,
like that.
nah, I'm sorry. Don't you'll set Lee off now. He'll have a go at me. Oh, trying to
No,
call
no,
this.
no.
No.
You've got about a week to change.
He's moving house, Lee. Come on.
Give me a break.
It's another new setup for Jordan.
It's
a new background, it's a new setup.
No, so far. No, see, I'm mixing it up. Anyway, it says, big up, James. Good to hear realistic, undiluted comments about our title chances. That's a very good comment about James and probably very fair. But I can't help but feel like it was an indirect shot at some of us on the pod that maybe are deluded or unrealistic. But maybe I'm looking too much into that. But anyway,
no, I think he was backing me because what was his name? Something.
I didn't write him down.
I actually have it. It was Ian Nolan. Thank you. I actually saved that one as well because a lot of people weren't happy in the comments, which I get. We spent a lot of time speaking about Liverpool.
You saved that one. Jordan found it just now.
No, I did. Listen, it's been on my
100%.
screen. It's been on my screen for at least an hour.
When we was having a little bit, we're only having a little bit of fun about the Liverpool thing. I can't believe people take it serious at times.
Man, they should shut the
Also,
hell up,
it's
man.
context.
There's so much like sensitivity. Like some of these comments need to understand. It's all opinions. Like people are right, people are wrong. No one's speaking for anyone else. No one's speaking for a group or a club. I speak for myself. James speaks for him, and so on. And people just need to just say it again.
I just want to clarify that James has not got a liver bird tattooed at his arse. He hasn't.
And Lee would know. And on that note, we'll wrap it up, people. Love for the.
Do not end it there. Do not end it there.
Happy New Year, everyone. Bloody hell.
Happy New Year, everyone.